Hey Leute, wie geht's dir? My name is Lego Gun Replicas, and today we are going to be going a viewer requested gun, and by the shape, I'm pretty sure you can tell. This is the STG-44, made from Legos. So, the STG-44. If you don't know some of the history of the STG-44, the STG-44 was the first assault rifle to see development on a large scale. Developed by Nazi Germany, it was introduced in 1943 and saw first service on the Eastern Front. Though far from perfect, the STG-44 provided a versatile weapon for the German forces. Issued under the designation Maschine Karabiner 1942 or MKB-42, development contracts were issued to Heinel and Walther. Both companies responded with gas-operated prototypes that were capable of either semi-automatic or fully automatic fire. In testing, the Hugo Schmeisser-designed Heinel MKB-42H outperformed the Walther and was selected by the Wehrmacht with some minor changes. A short production run of MKB-42Hs was field tested in November 1942 and received strong recommendations from the German troops. Moving forward, 11,833 MKB-42Hs were produced for field trials in late 1942 and early 1943. Assessing the data from these trials, it was determined that the weapon would perform better with a hammer firing system operating from a closed bolt rather than an open bolt striker system initially designed by Heinel. As work moved forward to incorporating this new firing system, development temporarily came to a halt when Hitler suspended all new rifle programs due to administrative infighting within the Third Reich. To keep the MKB-42H alive, it was redesignated as the Maschinenpistole 43, or Mp43, and billed as an upgrade existing to the earlier submachine guns. This deception was eventually discovered by Hitler, who again had the program halted. In March 1943, he permitted it to recommence for evaluation only. Running for 6 months, the evaluation produced positive results, and Hitler allowed the Mp43 program to continue. In April 1944, he ordered the redesignation Mp44. 3 months later, Hitler consulted with his commanders regarding the Eastern Front. He was told that the men needed a new rifle. Shortly thereafter, Hitler was given the opportunity to test fire the Mp44 and highly impressed. He dubbed it the Sturmgewehr, meaning storm rifle. Seeking to enhance the propaganda value of the new weapon, Hitler ordered it to be redesignated STG-44. Assault Rifle 44, model 1944, giving the new rifle its own class. Production soon began with the first batches of the new rifle being shipped to troops on the Eastern Front. A total of 425,977 STG-44s were produced by the end of the war, and work had commenced on a follow-on rifle, the STG-45. Among the attachments available for the STG-44 was the Krummslauf, a bent barrel that had been permitted firing around corners. These were mostly common, made with 30-degree and 45-degree bends. So that's the development, and let's get on to what this thing is all about. So, starting out with the mag, you'll see I have standard bullet on top, and this is to trying to just recreate the 7.92mm Kurtz, but as you can see, it obviously doesn't look like it at all. But this is just so it'll fit into the mag. As you can also see here, this is a 4 lung stud tile, and it was a 6 and in light gray. But I was having removing the magazine issues when this would just pull the whole thing out. So I moved it from a 2 to a 4, or from a 6 to a 4. And then we also have the studs on the side of the mag, which on the real rifle, this thing just won't focus, will it? Goddamn. Which on the real rifle would stop the magazine from going too far into the to the mag well of the rifle. Tape, as usual, on this. And then we have the floor plate of the magazine right there. And overall, it should be actually longer, surprisingly, but I actually ran out of pieces while making this magazine, so that's as long as it will get. Now moving to the rifle itself, and this thing is huge. Well, I say huge, but yeah, whatever. So I based my STG off of my different usernames STG, and I think I did it fairly well. Obviously there are some parts that I felt like I could have done better. And we'll start with the fire selector. If you can even see it. Okay, there we go. As you can see, it's a sliding type. I don't know why, but its placement is actually wrong. And it should be more up here than down here. So, yeah. And the fire selector, or actually this isn't even a fire selector, this is the fire selector, so all the way in would be fully automatic fire, and out like that, and it being out 2 studs will be single shots. And then with this lever up, the rifle is in safe, and with the lever down, the rifle is in fire. Here's what you can see what I was talking about the single shots and then full auto. Then the trigger does work as usual, and I do have a 2x1 jumper plate up there just so it'll stop instead of going so far forwards. Then we have the grips on the side of the mag, and just all sorts of little details on this rifle. We have the magazine release, which does not work, because that would have been a tremendous effort to make that work. We have all the little vents on the rifle, and it's actually dangerous to hold the rifle up here, because excess gas, when it goes through and comes back, will actually vent out up here. So yeah. Then we have the barrel and muzzle end. So the muzzle end was actually designed to accept Car 98 adapters, such as grenade launchers and stuff like that, but it was actually never done. Then we have very classic iron sight, and its little post. And an interesting fact you can do is that you can pull this out and then clean the rod that's inside. And speaking of inside, so if you remove the top piece, you can actually get to the internals. And one interesting thing I did here was, because the bolt is not a rotating type, but a tilting type, what actually happens here my camera will focus, is in the actual STG, the bolt is slightly slanted up, kind of like that. And what happens is that the charging handle and the rest of the bolt, I guess, just grabs it and pulls it back, which is a very interesting thing, because, you know, it's not usual for the whole bolt to be lifted out of place so it can cycle. Here we can also see the track that runs down it. So, yep, that's that. Then maybe we can get a closer view of all of this stuff right here. So yeah, how about we do some shooting with it? So, if you liked the video, don't forget to leave it a like, as this does help out my channel. If you don't mind subscribing, please do. And until the next one, guys, I will see you guys later. Bye.